one of the fanciest, fluffiest desserts, chocolate mousse. First, we're going to make some whipped cream. This is 1/2 cup of heavy cream that I will whisk until it makes stiff peaks. You can certainly do this by hand. It just takes 1,000 years, but it's a good workout for your arms. I'm going to use the machine. We're just going to start off on a medium speed here, and it shouldn't be making that sound. Something's misaligned. Hold on. And we're just going to whip and whip and whip it until it is fluffy and a little bit stiff. We don't need to add any sweetener at this point because it's going to be added to something very sweet later on. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's about halfway done with whipping. It's going to be looking like a little bit of whipped cream, but it needs to be stiffer than this. That's a little bit too soft. So we're going to keep it going for a few more minutes. We've been whipping about 5 more minutes. I'm going to show you what it looks like now that it's done. You can see it's holding up on its own a lot better now. It's going to be just stiffer, still fluffy. The longer you whip it, the longer you agitate it and add more air, the fluffier and stronger it will get. Lovely. Now cover and refrigerate until we're ready to use it again. Next step, we need to separate some eggs. I have 4 eggs. I need 4 yolks and 2 whites. So we're just going to discard the other 2 whites. You'll need a few separate bowls to do this. Gently crack the egg so you can make 2 little eggshell cups. And then you can use those cups to pass the yolk back and forth. And as you do that, the white should fall right off very easily. And then you just put the yolk into the other cup. You'll need 2 egg whites that we'll use later on. If you don't want the extra 2 egg whites to go to waste, they don't have to. There's a lot of things you could do with them. For instance, you could just scramble them up and have them with some toast yourself. Or you could cook them and give them to your dog or cat with their dog or cat food. It's good for dogs and cats. And the eggshells don't have to go to waste either. Those are great for compost. So you can just throw them in your compost if you're doing that at home, and it's good for the soil. And that's a total of 4 egg yolks. Now you need a heat-proof bowl. We're going to put the egg yolks, not the egg whites. This is a double boiler. You can just use any heat-proof bowl that will fit over any saucepan you have. Next is 1/4 cup of strong room temperature or cold coffee. It has to be cold or room temperature, not freshly brewed and hot, because we don't want to cook the eggs. And it also needs to be pretty strong coffee. That's just so that bitter flavor comes through and counteracts the extreme sweetness of this dish. Next, you'll see 2 tablespoons of sugar. Last, we're adding 1/8 teaspoon of kosher salt. Oh wow, that looks so delicious. It gets better, don't worry. Let's add some chocolate. So you need 6 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate. If you don't have a scale, most bags of semi-sweet chocolate chips are sold in 12 ounces, so just use half the bag. That's fine. Alright, whisk up your egg mixture. Don't add the chocolate yet, that comes later, but whisk it up so that it's all homogeneous. You need to be bringing your saucepan of water to a simmer. It's really important that your saucepan has water that is shallow enough that your bowl won't touch it. It can't actually physically touch the water or it will cook and scramble your eggs. We want really just the steam heating up this bowl. You need to whisk this constantly while it's over the heat until the mixture gets a little bit lighter in color and it will actually double in volume. I have a thermometer because I want the temperature to be 160 degrees. These are eggs and I want them cooked, but I don't want them scrambled. The other thing you need to remember is that if you don't have a double boiler like this where the bowl fits perfectly on the pan, you're going to have to hold it with one of your hands, and that can be tiring and it can be kind of hot, so make sure you figure out a good setup for that. This whisking is going to take a little while, not too long, but while we're waiting, let's talk chocolate. I used regular semi-sweet chocolate chips like Nestle Toll House brand. You can use those, or if you like darker chocolate, you can go darker. If you want to make a white chocolate mousse, you can buy white chocolate chips and do it the same way. Maybe not use the coffee. But one thing that you could also use are chocolate bars. If you don't have chocolate chips in the house, but you happen to have chocolate bars or baking chocolate, you can use all those. But since this has so few ingredients, it's literally just cream, egg yolks, egg whites, coffee, salt, sugar, and chocolate, the quality of your ingredients does matter because the flavor really comes through. So try to use chocolate that is high quality and tastes real good. Don't use, the cheap old Santa shaped cookies left over in your stocking because you don't want to eat them at Christmas. Use some good tasting chocolate. Please note the color change of the mixture and that it's almost looking kind of foamy looking. We are incorporating a lot of air as we whisk constantly, and that's a good thing. This is a very fluffy dessert, so adding in air bubbles is going to add in fluff. Alright, this is looking about done, so remove it from the heat. Here's what it looks like when it's done. Should be smooth. Once you've taken it off the heat, you can mix in all of your chocolate chips, and they will melt just from the residual heat in that bowl. And stir it until they're all melted and well incorporated into the mixture. Now you should have something that looks a lot like brownie mix, brownie batter. And let that come to room temperature. Don't add anything else into it until it cools down, because we don't want to cook the eggs. We are in the home stretch with this recipe. I'm going to whip the egg whites until they are stiff peaks, just like the whipped cream. If that looks like a different container for egg whites, you're absolutely right. The green container I had before was compromised when my cat jumped on the table and put his face in it. So I would say that cat face is a definite case of cross-contamination in your food, which means that I had to get rid of that and get clean food, because I don't want anyone getting a cat scratch fever. Alright, while I was making that dumb joke, what I showed you was that I whipped it enough for the egg whites to get foamy, and then I added in 1 tablespoon of sugar. And now I'm going to keep on whipping it on high until it is stiff peaks. Meanwhile, while it's whipping, I'm going to transport the chocolate mixture into a larger mixing bowl, because these 2 egg whites, you'll see, will, I don't know, quadruple in size, maybe more, because we're incorporating a lot of air. Alright, this is what it looks like at the soft peak stage, which means it's not done yet, but we're getting there. I want you to see it because I don't want you to mistake it for being done. It's just a little too loose, not strong enough. You can see it kind of hangs there and drips. It needs to be pretty stiff, like like that. Good job. So once you have stiff egg whites, you want to fold them into your room temperature chocolate, and do it in 2 batches, 2 stages. Don't put it all in at once. And this becomes kind of an arm workout, but you want to do it evenly. And we're just going to fold. This is not quite the same as stirring. We want to be gentle. We have gentle ingredients. They need to be handled with care. But we're just going to gently fold in our egg whites into the chocolate. And it's going to get fluffier, it's going to get lighter in color. You're going to like it. Alright, now add in some more of the egg whites. Alright, here's the last bit of the egg whites, but spoilers, we're not done folding yet. Don't forget, we made that whipped cream way at the beginning. That has to be folded in too. Here's the whipped cream that we have been chilling this whole time. We're going to fold that in gently as well, just until it's all stirred together in one color, no white bits peeking out. In a second, look on my left side, or on the left side of the screen rather, and you'll see the cat that ruined the first egg whites. There he is. Alright, after a lot of folding, we should have a nice homogeneous, chocolatey, smooth, fluffy mixture. Yep, that looks about right. Now let's divide it up into serving dishes, because this is a fancy dessert, so how are we going to serve it up fancy? Well, I'm at my house and I'm not a very fancy person, so what I've got is a bunch of ideas that you could be creative with at your house. First, you could get some small, cute mugs or teacups. I think little delicate Victorian flowered teacups would be cute with this. I don't have any of those, but I do have this coffee mug. Kind of looks like a cup of ice cream. Next, if you have something like a cute or fancy wine glass, a lot of people have a whole set of wine glasses, so that would be a good option if you're trying to make, a special dessert or dinner and dessert for your family. So serve it up there, put a dollop of whipped cream on top perhaps, or some chocolate shavings. Next, I have specifically a cute little dessert cup. I don't have a whole set of them though. I just bought this at a thrift store one day because I thought it was a pretty color. And I keep it on my shelf, and usually it holds change, but I washed it out and now I'm holding chocolate mousse. The last option I love because it's a little bit conservative. I don't like to throw away glass jars with lids because I think they can be reused. So that was a container of honey that I washed out. And now I'm going to fill it with the mousse, and it has a handy lid that I can screw on and it can stay in the refrigerator. And if I have a bunch of these, imagine like having chocolate mousse at a baby shower and you fill a bunch of little glass jars that used to have baby food, but now it's fancy chocolate mousse. See, I'm full of great ideas. Anyway, basically you're just going to see that I don't have fancy items in my house, so I'm just putting all the chocolate mousse into weird containers. But it's still delicious, and I think the little jar idea is cute. Alright, so now that you have filled your serving containers with the mousse, you could serve it right away while it's still chilled and fresh, or this is a great thing to make a day ahead of time. Cover it, put it in the refrigerator, take it to wherever you're serving it. Is it good, by the way? Do you like it? Is it good? Oh, there's the chef's kiss. Okay, it's good. Bye.